Greetings everyone, my name is Sign. So you read the title, the top 10 best Gen 1 Pokemon. Just one thing though, we're gonna throw in a rule. Starters, Legendaries, and Pikachu are not allowed. You see, if they were, they would populate this list almost exclusively. And if you want to see the most boring version of this video possible, then I'm sure Watch Mojo's done something like this. So without further ado, the top 10 best Gen 1 Pokemon. Let's begin. I love Pokemon with personality. And by virtue of the anime, Jigglypuff probably has one of the most memorable personalities of any Pokemon. Jigglypuff is an adorable ball of cuteness that's only desire in life is for people to listen to it sing. Unfortunately, its voice is so nice to listen to that everyone who hears the song falls asleep, which is the exact opposite of what happens when I try to sing to people. That pisses Jigglypuff off to the point that it uses its microphone/marker, buy one today, to draw dicks on people's faces. It's akin to a Greek tragedy, really. Like Sisyphus and the Boulder, except they've been combined together into an adorable pink floof. You know, I'm not really sure why I like Snorlax. It just feels like he gets me, you know? I mean, he's got a great design. It's simple, but it's not like too simple, you know? And it's also really strong. Like, he can take out multiple Elite Four members easily. Yeah, Snorlax is good. So this here is my cop-out answer. Since Ditto can turn into any Pokemon, I want you to imagine any Pokemon that you like but that I didn't put on this list, and bam, now it's on the list, just with little dots for eyes. Speaking of, it's now been accepted in the canon that's just what Dittos look like when they transform, but that wasn't what it started off as. In Ditto's introductory episode of the anime, it was actually a girl named Duplica's Ditto that always kept its dot eyes, and that was a problem with that one Ditto specifically, which was overcome by the end of the episode. But the idea stuck around, and has been making Nintendo easy money by selling existing plushies a second time with minor alterations ever since. So this one's pretty simple. Growlithe is a dog. I adore dogs, ergo I adore Growlithe. Now, Growlithe is, of course, a fire-type Pokemon, which are rare enough in the games to be worth catching whenever you come across them anyway, but he's a fire-type with a really cool color scheme, and a design that just makes you want to boop the heck out of his snoot and call him a good doggo. But if you want something more substantial than that, he's also the first fire-type Pokemon you can get in Pokemon Red and Blue if you chose the correct starter, and, bonus, just before the Grass Gym too, which makes that a cakewalk. So bottom line, he's amazing. What else can you say but Growlithe? I suck at this. Hold on, I'm gonna call in a professional. Boop 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 boop. 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 Hey, I need a Growlithe voice. Okay, cool. Here, I'll put him on. Growlithe! 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 Foxylith! Foxylith! Perfect. Now, there are a couple of things that I adore about Magikarp. Firstly, I love its design. The idea of this Pokemon is that it's absolutely worthless, and nothing says worthless quite like a stupid mustache and a 1,000-yard stare. But at the same time, it's also an instantly striking design, with the bright red immediately grabbing your attention and the pale yellow doing a great job contrasting with it. And second, some of my all-time favorite Pokemon are the ones that stand out from the crowd via the unique stories you get either in obtaining them or in training them. And one of the best examples of that is with Magikarp. So you get the old rod and immediately take it out for a spin. But all you can catch with it is this worthless fish that only knows splash. But you stick with it and train him up by sending him out at the start of battles and switching him out. Which, by the way, always made me wonder what the other trainer was thinking. Like, Magikarp, go! Hi, I can't hit anything. Bye! And eventually your efforts are rewarded as he reaches level 20 and evolves into Gyarados, and suddenly becomes a beast who can one-hit KO every Pokemon in the game. Now, not only does that do a great job making you bond with it and end up being an awesome story, but I find Magikarp weirdly inspirational. Like, even the most worthless, weakest Pokemon you could possibly imagine still has the potential for greatness somewhere inside it. And speaking as the most worthless, weakest human you could possibly imagine, that gives me hope. Okay, Slowpoke is amazing. Its gimmick is that it's a Pokemon so dumb that it achieved Nirvana and gained psychic powers. Like, it went so far down the scale of stupid that it integer underflowed and came back out the other side a genius. Also, I love the idea that it uses its tail to fish for Pokemon, and that it evolves if it ever catches a shelter, at which point they enter into a symbiotic relationship. Also, his stupid face is adorable. I've mentioned this a lot in the past, but I am a lover of villains. The kind of kid who actively rooted for Jesse and James to steal Pikachu. And as such, I've always found myself having a bias towards the Pokemon they used. If you had asked 6-year-old me what my favorite Pokemon was, I would have chosen Koffing, to the point even that my father actually made me a Koffing cake for my birthday back then. But these days, I think my favorite member of the original gang is one that's not as well remembered as Weezing and Arbok, James's Victory Bell. Oh, how I love Victory Bell. Let me count the ways. First of all, his colors are great. The yellow and green design with a red accent along the mouth works wonders and is immediately visually striking. Second, Victory Bell is based off of Venus Flytrap, which is objectively the coolest plant of all time. Actually it's based upon a Nepenthes, a type of tropical pitcher. So yeah, like I said, Venus Flytrap. Third, and finally, I will never forget the sound it makes in the anime. Victory Bell, go! It's so weird, but somehow it fits really well. So, in conclusion, I would let Victory Bell swallow and dissolve me in its acid any day. Ghastly. Do I even need to explain myself for this one? Honestly, the entire line is incredible, but of all of them, I think Ghastly stands out for just how simple it is, but at the same time it's so memorable. It's a ball of gas with angry eyes. Yeah, I don't think anyone would argue if I called it one of, if not the best ghost Pokemon of all time. And not only that, but Ghastly is also inextricably linked in my mind to the Ghost of Maiden's Peak episode of the anime, in which it has a starring role and is the cause of 20 minutes of refined batshit insanity. That episode has everything. Horrifying imagery, references to real-life animals existing alongside Pokemon. Misty rips off The Exorcist and uses the Christian God, which I guess exists now in the Pokemon world. Venusaur and Blastoise use polymerization and fuse together into Venatoys. Blastosaur? And of course, at the very end, it goes all Helen of Troy on us as we see Misty and a Yukata. 10 out of 10, amazing Pokemon, doesn't get any better than that. Except, you know, it does, at least 2 more times. But yeah, 10 out of 10. So let's give Eevee the number 2 spot, and I will personally take the Sun Rising in the Morning award for the inevitability of that pick. But I can't help it. Eevee is beloved for a reason, because he's so freaking cute! Eevee is, of course, the evolution Pokemon, and can evolve into an ever-growing number of different Pokemon, each of them being an exemplar of their respective typing. Now, just like with Growlithe, Eevee is a dog, and dogs are wonderful, so Eevee is wonderful. And also just like with Growlithe, you can get him before the grass gym in Red and Blue, and if you evolve him into a Flareon, it becomes a walkover. Honestly, Eevee is just kind of a better version of Growlithe with more options, but hey, there's room enough in my heart for all the doggos of the Pokemon world. So with Magikarp, I talked about how awesome Pokemon that give memorable experiences are, but more so than Magikarp, I think Abra really steals the show in that regard. Imagine it. You're playing Pokemon Red and Blue, and you're in the grass outside of Cerulean and get a random encounter, and BAM! It's an Abra. At that moment, your asshole clenches so hard you can use it to crack walnuts, because you know you only get the one chance. If it succeeds, you'll have a Psychic-type Pokemon with incredible potential to help out for the rest of your run, but the only move that Abra knows is Teleport, so you can't lower its health any, and if your first Pokeball fails, it's gone. And because Abra only has a 15% encounter rate, with your luck, it could be the only one you see for the next half hour. So you throw your Pokeball. You're mashing down and B as hard as you can, and praying to Arceus that just this once, it stays in the ball. I have that experience once a playthrough, and it's always one of the most memorable parts of the game for me. That combined with Abra's OP-ness, especially back in Red and Blue, and a design that just screams Psychic, makes him one of my all-time favorites. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and reminiscing about Gen 1 is your thing, then check out 10 things you didn't know about Pokemon Red and Blue. Alternatively, stick around on my channel for when I make the top 10 worst Gen 1 Pokemon video. Special thanks to my wonderful Patreon patrons, Sawsbucky, Forgotten Paladin, Joe Anderson, Taubob, Renataja, Soul, Mythnut, Isaiah Christo, Mageline, and Ludwig.